Hey guys, we're back with a part 2 video on Rat Trap. This is my 89 240SX that I am in the process of LS swapping. I don't know if you tuned into the first video. I will put a little thingy up there around this time, maybe in the next 30 seconds or so. So you can check that out, get the rundown. Last video we mocked up the block, and we were able to get the ISR mounts in loosely. Everything's not bolted in, but ISR kit came with a trans mount as well. I went over, we're using a 4-speed Chevy trans. I don't remember the exact name of it off the top of my head right now, but went through, cleaned up the engine bay a little bit, got rid of the harness because the harness was still here. But today's goal is to try and mount the radiator. So I've been looking at this. This is a 3-core aluminum rad that I have laying around that I'd like to use, considering all things. But problem is, it's a little large. So if you can see, it fits perfectly within the frame rails. Now the only issue I'm really having here is the fact that this water outlet is going to literally sit in the frame rail. So what I think I may do, honestly, is I may cut these frame rails off. Cut the front half of the frame rail off here. Cut this out. So then I can run the coolant tube here and be able to kind of snake it. Or I just have to say screw it and get a stock 240 radiator, which I really don't want to do because I already cut the core support out. So I'm going to take some measurements, possibly see if I can find a cheap Amazon radiator and fans, and then go from there. I will come back with an update on that momentarily. After that, I'm going to continue cleaning up this engine bay a little bit and see if I can get the wipers off, because I won't be running them. Cowl off, and just get all of the unnecessary stuff out of the engine bay, like fuel filter, fuel lines, evap lines. I'm not using any of that, so that can get out of here. Any unnecessary brackets that are bolted in still, like these plastics, anything like that. Maybe even take the harness back a little bit further or punch through one of the grommets and get through in there. But I'm going to start with that. I'll be back momentarily with a radiator measurement, and I'll let you know what I find. Okay, so I did find a radiator on Amazon, and I'm not running the stock heater core. I'm going to do a heat exchanger because I don't know the condition of that. Plus, I'm not running any HVAC, and more than likely I'm not running a dashboard. I'm going to run the heat exchanger in front of the radiator. It'll act as a heater core, which is also a heat exchanger. But I'm going to have to order that, and when that comes in, I'll meet back with you guys for this video, and I will install it in the vehicle as best I can. I don't have a really competent welder at home to be able to weld stuff, but I'll make it work. So, till then, I'll be back shortly, and for you, it'll be a few seconds. Hey guys, it's a few days later. This is Rat Trap Part 2. My radiator finally came in. It actually fits amazingly. I just have a bungee cord right there holding it in, purely because I don't have mounts made for it. I'm trying to figure that out. So I have an idea. Basically, my idea is I am going to run some sort of, I don't know what I want to call it, containment or either something along these lines. I want to do a little U around here because you see that this kind of perfectly fits in line here, where I could weld to this structure here. I mean, it wouldn't be the strongest, but it would hold this in place, and it would just be basically a little U around, or a C, C-clamp, whatever you want to call it. And I could do the same thing over here, obviously covered in rubber. And then the underside of things, I would build a little channel with rubber for it to sit in, because there's no mounting locations on this radiator or anything along those lines. It is purely a universal-esque radiator. But I like that. I know I have some scrap metal at work that I could make this work with, and I could bring this with me tomorrow and actually try and whip something up. Because if I'm looking correctly, it looks like there's a threaded hole right here, which means I could just build right off of that, U it in, and then bolt it in, which would actually make it easy to access. Now, the next thing I want to check, so we're going to walk over here nice and quickly. We're going to grab a water pump I have sitting off on a shelf, because you always have extra parts for LSs. It always works that way. And I'm going to come right back because I'm going to need two hands. Okay, so now I got to check and see if this LS1 water pump that I have sitting on the shelf will fit on this car. Hopefully it will, because I don't want to buy a new one because I'm lazy. Also, how do you like the tripod? Got that recently. It was $30 on Amazon. So we're going to see how well it works. I hope it works well enough to do what I need it to do. But stock LS1 water pump. Oh, she's tight. She's tight. That is wildly close. Okay. I don't know if you can see that or not. Probably not from there. But with the radiator in place and hopefully wanting to stay in the right spot, we are extremely close. Let me see if I can zoom in a little for you so you can see, or I'll move you around. Hold on, sorry. Sorry, everybody. So basically, we're right in there. So obviously, it's not a perfect mock-up, but I'm using, obviously, just your normal LS parts and trying to hold them in the position they're in, and that is extremely tight. We got no clearance at all between this fan and water pump, which I don't mind, purely because this is going to sit farther forward, which is beautiful. And that means everything is really, really, really perfectly sized. But let me see if I can find a bolt off of something that'll fit in the water pump holes. Nope. Probably not, unfortunately. I kind of don't have water pump bolts sitting around. But I also don't... No, dang it. That's going to be a problem because I think the balancer sits too far out. Okay, that'll work. We're going to see if it's long enough. Hopefully it is. So I'd like to bolt this in and show you guys what's going on. Oh, it is definitely not long enough. Technical difficulties. Give me a minute. I'll be right back. All right, we're back. I got bolts, but this is just a loose mock-up, by the way. So don't take anything I say for granted. I can always change this around. But I was contemplating the idea of possibly doing a electronic water pump on this, but it's just very complex and I don't really want to deal with the complexity of it. So I'm not thrilled about the idea. Okay, well, it would also help if the motor was bolted down, but there's about where it's going to sit. If you can see, we got very tight tolerances. And what I'm very worried about, honestly, and I'm going to see if I have a counterbalance for that, is the fact that we may have a problem with it actually being like that, unfortunately. Does this weight help hold it? Yes, it does. Beautiful. Okay. So now we're level. We're holding it level. I hope the audio didn't get messed up. I'm sorry. I'm using my shirt to wipe my face because I'm very sweaty. I'm moving it a little bit. So I think with that, we might be A-okay. I don't believe we're going to have any troubles. I mean, I just got to really nail getting this, getting the radiator mounted. I think if we do that, we should be okay. Yeah. The only concern I have slightly is the fact that I can't run a LS1 balancer on this, which brings it further in. I have to run a truck style balancer because that's what this motor is. It's a truck motor, and I got to do some research on that, but I can figure that out pretty easily. I'm just really happy that that bolts up and is pretty nice. It's not a big pain in the butt. I'm more than likely going to run a ICT billet lower alternator mount. Sorry, excuse me. I do have radiator hoses for this though that could possibly work, and they look like they will. So I'm going to grab them, and I'm going to actually try and attempt to plumb them up because I think it'll look cool, and why not? Let's keep moving along with the vehicle, you know? So, oh, that is definitely going to be tight. That does not like to go on at all. Nope. I mean, I could definitely run it. Oh, shit, there goes the radiator. I can definitely run it. It's just, this is not very pleased, to say the least, to sit like that. It looks very ugly. I don't know what's on it, though. Interesting. But that could work. In all reality, it's ugly, but it could work. Or I could take this off and obviously scrap the idea because it's ugly and doesn't work very well, and run second option, which I am also using on my truck. I'm just using a black one instead of a chrome one. This one was a spare part given to me that I actually don't hate the idea of possibly using. Oh, we're slightly too short. That's unfortunate. But if I could get a 90 for this, this could work. Because you're supposed to use rubber couplers on the ends of these metal kind of flexi hoses. But these do work as very good hoses. And I could definitely make this work, which actually really makes me happy. I'd have to probably cut it back a little bit, do a 90. We're in money, clamp it on both sides, call it a day. So I don't hate that. I'd have to figure out, though, the lower radiator hose, because that is definitely going to be a little tricky. Or I could do the simple thing and just take the radiator and smack it up out front like this, which moves it really high up in the car. So let me know your opinion in the comments. I don't love this because I'd have to notch a decent bit to actually not notch too much. I mean, I'd be inside the frame rails. I wouldn't hate to do this. But I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe not. I'm not going to count it out because then we gain a lot of room in here for everything we need to do. We can run whatever balancer we need and whatever accessory drive. So I'm not going to knock it until I try it for sure. I'll be right back. I'm going to use the Sawzall and cut a little bit, and I just don't want you guys getting that audio quality. But I'll come back with the Sawzall after I have probably screwed something up that I really shouldn't have. But I'll be right back. Okay, mistakes were made. I broke my last two Sawzall blades. We're gonna have to pick this up tomorrow once I can grab more from the store. But basically, my idea is this. I want to, sorry, let me adjust the camera. I want to notch this out so the radiator will sit in, and then I can basically kind of snip this, bend it straight, add a little front support here, do my little clip thingies here to hold the top, and then we're good to go. That'll buy us an extra few inches on the actual, sorry, let me focus that in, on the actual water pump, just in case I have to run spacers to line the drive assembly up, which isn't the end of the world, because all it's going to be is alternator there to the alternator over in this corner here, sorry, to the crank up to the tensioner, which then is going to run around here and down there. I may have to add an idler pulley up top. I'm not really too sure yet, but I will see you tomorrow and we'll be back on this. Hey everybody, back next day. I have Sawzall blades and I went and picked up a Bauer cordless angle grinder. I had a wired one, but I don't know where the actual jam nut is for it, so I had to pick something up to get the job done. But we're back on it today. I'm gonna finish cutting this cross member out down here. I also made some not great looking upper mounts, but I'm going to use them anyway because nothing about this car is going to be perfect or good looking. And I'll get back into it. I had to break out the flux core welder, which sucks. Who would have guessed? But yeah, I'm going to set you guys up on a time lapse and keep working. Okay, so we're back, and we got this lower support cut out. Obviously, I'm gonna have to do some trimming because this is not very straight. But I actually, maybe not. I might leave it like that purely because it'll help clear out these screws so I don't hit anything. But I'll probably go ahead and clean this back lip up though for sure. So my idea is to have the radiator sit in that little gap right there. I'm sorry if I sound out of breath. It is very humid again today and I've just been running around all day. So it's been kind of miserable, but sit it right in here. I might have to clearance for that lower hose. Actually, I'm definitely going to have to clearance for that lower hose. But right here feels like a pretty good home for this radiator. I mean, I'm going to have to do some more trimmaging, and to really solidify it and be able to tell you. But I'm going to start getting to that, and we're going to go from there. So, set you guys back up on a time lapse, and we'll go and hopefully get this radiator in today. Okay, so as you saw in the time lapse, I got the rest of this structure piece cut out, which kind of sucks, makes it a little flimsy, but I don't even know if I'm going to go back and plate it, to be honest with you. I'm just going to be lazy and leave it. But I got my L bracket in. I like it bumped right against these subframe bolts coming forward to this piece. This piece is still decently sturdy. I mean, not crazy, but decently. I'll probably go back and plate that eventually. I have to. But for now, this is going to be our location. Probably figure out a way just to maybe get it up a little bit so we're not really touching that. It's unfortunate that I couldn't get it perfectly even with those, but that's the rough idea we have so far. And then, so I'm going to secure that down for now, and I'm going to bring you back once I get that done and I start moving on to the upper supports, because you're going to laugh at me when you see exactly what I did, but it's going to work, and I don't really care. Go ahead, make fun of me. But it'll work. It'll get done. We're good. Okay, I'm sorry this is a longer video, but we're back, and the radiator is in its final resting spot. I'm going to have to pull it back out, go through, tighten some bolts for the lower support, possibly make some revisions, but we're going to see. I like how it sits. It doesn't really wiggle around, but again, time will tell how good the Ratty Garage no welder build is. As cheap as possible, mind you. I want to emphasize this is as cheap as I can possibly do it. But here it is. Ta-da! This is a custom ordered radiator. I had to measure the size and kind of get something that was generically going to fit. And I think it fits pretty well. I mean, made some makeshift mounts. It doesn't really move. It's pretty sturdy. I mean, with the hoses attached, it'll definitely help. This side moves a little bit. I may just glue some rubber in, try and keep it from, getting out of hand. Some rubber down here on the end tanks to keep any, chafing from going on both sides. But plenty of clearance on the sides. I don't have a problem with this. I mean, many people might, and the hoses will work. I have a hose for the lower that'll go right to the radiator, and this hose for the upper. I got to get a 90-degree rubber hose for that, and a straight hose here to actually fit on that pipe. But after that, we're good. I'm actually I'm going to do it, but now I'm moving on to trying to mount an oil cooler down here. And I quite literally trash picked this bracket, self-tapped it in, and I'm going to trash pick another bracket to use off the stock, fender mount over here. And we're going to bolt it in, and I'm going to come back to you with that. I'm not going to bore you with the time lapse. It's a very tight area, and this is a very long video already. So I'm going to keep moving, and I'll come back when that's done. Thanks. All right, we're back finally. This oil cooler, I'm going to add a mount eventually, probably 2 to try and secure a little better, but it's solid as is. I'm not worried about it, falling off the car. I got to tighten some things up, but I got to get some sockets from work. I also decided, hey, you know what, let me throw the catch can in the car, because I said why not. It's about a 30-second install, and I just use self-tappers. So, cool by me. But here we go. Let me show you. This is what we have. This is where I'm going to run the oil cooler. Should clear the tire. I have similar style right there on my 240. Hitting it up in there. This is a little bit more prominent. Obviously, I have no bumper or boost piping, so I'm not really concerned about anything being in the way or any clearance issues. It was more of keep it away from the tire, and we'll figure it out from there. But once I actually get the remote oil filter and, hook it up and install everything, I'll run lines. I'm just going to come 90 off of this fitting up through this previous boost pipe that was there. Same with this. Come over, and then one goes into the remote oil filter housing, and then one will go to the oil pan in the back, which I may have to get tricky with it and go under the motor mount just to avoid headers, but that is a problem for a future and later date. Catch can. I found this at work. I am going to use it because it was free, and I can't say no to free. I believe that is a 12 AN inlet. I'm just going to do either dual 10s out and in to a Y right there, or I'll do 2 8s into a 12, whatever I need to do. But this thing shouldn't have that much crankcase pressure, being that it's NA and it's a small motor with no crazy compression or anything done to the bottom end. It's straight up cam and then carburetor. That's it. So that's mounted. I'm going to leave that there. I like the location because there's a drain on the bottom. I don't know if you can see that, a little drain on the bottom, so I can just drain it. And yeah, I mean, it's slowly coming together, but in the next video, I'm either going to be doing the fuel system, which I took a look at the tank. I got to just drain it, drill a hole in the bottom, tap it, put some barb fittings in it. Here's the pump I'm going to be using with. I've seen mixed reviews on it. It's supposed to be a 5 to 7 gallon per hour pump. Nothing crazy, but perfect for what I need for a carbureted motor. And then I'm going to try and utilize the stock fuel lines. I don't know if this is the feed or return, but I'm going to try and utilize the feed. I'm not doing a return style system, so I'm not worried about it. And yeah, I think I'm going to get a fuel sending unit for this so I can have gas level because I'm going to utilize the stock tank. I got to do some cleaning of it because there's a little bit of gunk in the bottom. I looked at it already, but other than that, that's pretty much it. I feel like I made great progress on this thing by actually getting the radiator in. I got to take it back out, do some small modifications, some little stuff. I got some LED bars that I'm going to actually use for the headlights. Also came from work, but I don't want this to actually look like a stock 240 in the front. I want it to be unique. I'll probably get some fenders for it eventually, but as for now, this is all I care about. I care about getting running, driving, and doing what I need to do from there. Thank you for watching the video. I'm a hot, sweaty mess. Cannot wait to shower. But I'm going to try and put one of these videos out a week on Rat Trap. Seems like the masses of people enjoy that more than my other content, other cars besides the red truck. But we'll see. Depends on parts availability and whatnot, and money. But thanks for watching. I appreciate it. If you enjoyed the content, please click the subscribe button and like the video. It means a great deal to me that you guys support the channel. And if there's something specific you want to see done on this car, as far as the next video, let me know. I can always switch plans. Just leave a comment. But please like, subscribe, and share the video. I appreciate you guys watching. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. Peace.